Hey, come on in and welcome to A Win is a Win podcast, where sports and everything else collide. Comfortable? All right. Let's go, Dr. T.
All right, we have some conference games coming up. NFC, AFC. Who's got the juice? Let me know. Also, what bets are you putting in? Well, we're going to talk about that as well. We got some strange things going down and gone now. So, before we do all of that and get into everything that is happening for these championship games and what's been going on with these coaching positions, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. And guess what? Go ahead and hit that notification bell so you know when a new episode drops. Listen, the like button, you know what it does? It just keeps us in the algorithm, lets the podcast world, lets YouTube and everybody know, hey, there's a little podcast over here. You might want to go check it out. It's pretty dope, if I might say. And, we got a lot to talk about, y'all. It's just been so much going on with these coaching positions. So let's start there and see who got, how can I say, who got the job, who was hired, and who's still looking for a job. What team is still out there searching? Well, the Patriots went with Vrabel as we expected. The Bears went with Ben Johnson. Jets went with Aaron Glenn. The Jags acquired Liam Coen, although he pump faked and said he was staying with the Bucks. Pete Carroll is back in action with the Raiders, and Brian Schottenheimer is the coach of the Cowboys. Saints are still out there looking, y'all. They trying to figure out who's gonna lead them to do what. All right. Talk about stacking the rosters. The Dodgers make history and sign South Sudan prospect Joseph Dang. Now, the 17-year-old pitcher was signed this past Saturday with the Dodgers, acquiring the first prospect ever to turn pro out of South Sudan. With that, he is going to bring a lot to the team with his 95-mile-per-hour fastball and his repertoire for a well-regarded splitter. 6'7", 185-pound right-hander. Congratulations, young man, on your position here in the United States. And I'm pretty sure, if not anything, you're going to make your family proud back in Africa. Listen, Tom Brady has entered the chat and he says, wait a minute, hold up. When quarterbacks become running backs and they're out of the pocket, they should lose their protection. So who's protecting the quarterback? We're trying to say the referee should do it? No. If you're running with the ball, you should protect it. And, he was very PC in his response, given his broadcasting and ownership, he has to be very mindful about how he speaks. But I'm just going to be plain. If your ass is out of the pocket, you're a running back, you need to get hit, packed up wherever you are, period. You have ran out of your QB position, and all is fair at that point. There's no way that you get two people to hit you, two players hit you, and you get a roughing the passer call? No. And no. On top of that, the NFL is expected to include QB slides and expanded, replay assist. Now, y'all, I agree with that to an extent, but I'm going to go a little bit deeper than that. Let me read you what they said. Additional elements could be added to this offseason, especially after replay assist came into question in the third quarter of last weekend's AFC divisional playoff game when Mahomes scrambled out of the pocket, slid to the ground beneath two lunging Texan defenders, and still drew a 15-yard penalty on Houston for unnecessary roughness. NFL, I hear you. I do. And something is better than nothing. I get it. And yes, like I said, if he passes the line of scrimmage, definitely should get treated as a running back. But I'm going to go a little bit deeper than that. When are you going to start finding the reps? When are you going to start finding the reps? That's what I want to know. When do the refs get fined for these obscene calls that we keep seeing? As of now, they don't. Replay assist, you wouldn't need to keep using replay assist if the refs were making the right calls. I mean, come on now. Are they refereeing football? Because from what I see, it don't look like it very much. All right, y'all. The verdict is in, and Ronnie Coleman said y'all tried it. You definitely tried it, and it didn't work. Didn't work. So here's the backstory, right? So after a few years of pain and struggle and relentless fight, justice has prevailed and almost completed. Basically, he secures $15.4 million against Western Packaging Incorporated. Now, a Poly First packaging company was responsible for packaging his signature series of supplements. And I think what took place was he had a problem with how the packaging was. It leaked product. It caused the product to spoil. And basically it put his product at risk. And how can I put this? When you subcontract to another company and it's substandard, and you end up with a loss in revenue, you're still liable because the contract was to you, not to the person that you subcontracted it for. Ronnie Coleman went on to say, I want to take a moment to thank my incredible legal team for their unwavering support and dedication. Shout out to CTL, William Clayton, Wiley Kennedy, and a host of other lawyers that he named. Very long list. You all played a role in this epic win, and I will forever be grateful. He thanked his family and his friends and every single person, excuse me, who stood by him through this journey. He also mentions that it never was about him. It was about justice and standing up for what was right. So shout out to Ronnie Coleman. That has been going on for years, y'all. Years. So do you think Rodgers should retire? What y'all think? You think the Jets should bring Rodgers back? Or do you think that Rodgers just needs to go ahead and hang it up? With the injuries and age, we see that he could get loose sometimes, but it's not the Rodgers of old. And let's be very clear. We're not comparing him to anyone else but his older self. Okay. NFL executives believe Aaron Rodgers is likely to retire, with the Jets preparing to move forward with a new quarterback, per ESPN. Now, Rodgers, who turned 41 in December, still showcased his skills last season, throwing for 3,897 yards, 28 touchdowns, and 11 picks. However, finding a landing spot for the veteran quarterback appears to be challenging. We do not need him in Cleveland. I'm just going to go ahead and put that out there. Please leave him alone. Okay? We got enough problems going on. Let's see. I can't think of a team where he fits, an AFC executive told Jeremy Fowler. He probably doesn't want to join a rebuilding team, and contenders might hesitate to take on everything that comes with him, he might ultimately decide to call it a career. After the Jets season ended, Rodgers told reporters he would take some time, go back out west, and reflect on what he wants to do going forward. Um, just don't pull a Brett Favre and go call up Minnesota. Don't pull a Brett Favre, please. Uh, let's just not do that. So, what y'all think? Y'all think Rodgers is done? Is he gonna hang it up and become a ayahuasca guru and have retreats and all of that different stuff jumping off? Let me know. Anarumo has a new home. Yep. Um, looks like the Colts are gonna take him as their DC after he was the Bengals DC. So, you know, I think Lou gets a lot of disrespect. I believe, and this is just my opinion, I know I have Bengals fans, one major Bengal fan who listens, but there are a few more sprinkled in here. So please chime in. Let me know what you think on this take. But I think he gets a lot of disrespect. I mean, I am a Cleveland Brown fan, but I like sports. And I'm going to call an ace and ace a spade a spade. He's a solid coach. And I believe that team loves him. But I think that the Bengals defense had a terrible start. And he did turn things around on the back end of the season. I just don't think that that was enough. That's my point. I just think at the time that he turned it around, it was just a little bit too late. So let me know what you think. How do you think he's going to do as the DC of the Colts? Robert Saleh initially was interviewing with the Jags, but he has landed a job as the DC in the Bay Area, for the 49ers. So, I think a lot of people give him a bad rap because of Aaron Rodgers, but I do think people forget that they had a great defense until he got fired. I don't think he's just good as a head coach, but the defense, no, I do believe that they had a great defense, and we all know what that firing was about. Right, you just got to call it like it is. Let me see. Who do you think is going to ref the Super Bowl? Because I was hoping that they wouldn't throw Mark Stewart in there and Max Causey, but they did. Yep. They sure did. So here is your official officiating crew for Super Bowl 59. Main referee is going to be Ron Torbert. Now, I'm okay with that. Umpire is going to be Mike Morton. Now, the down judge is Max Kusi. Don't like him. And the line judge, don't like him. Mark Stewart. Field judge is going to be Merle Robinson. Side judge is going to be Boris Cheek. The back judge is going to be Jonah Monroe, and the replay official, oh my Lord, Kevin Brown. So if the Chiefs get past this conference and they win the conference, then it looks like they're going to be winning the Super Bowl again. I mean, I'm just saying, if you know anything about these refs, if you know, you know. Okay, if you know, you definitely know. So those are your refs for Super Bowl 59. Listen, O'Connell is stacking bread and he's staying put. More years in Minnesota. Kevin O'Connell had reached an agreement on a multi-year contract extension, and he was scheduled to be entering the last year of his contract this year, but that is no longer the case. He gets the bag and he's going to stay. Some people are not liking that, especially Vikings fans, and they said that, perhaps maybe they should have waited 1 year, to be honest, because he really hasn't shown that he can win in the playoffs. And, some people say that it's well deserved. So, what of Kevin O'Connell, do you think that this was a good decision to sign him to a multi-year contract? Let me know down in the comments section. So Liam Coen pump faked. And he pump faked by saying that he was going to take himself out of the running for the Jags head coaching job to stay in Tampa. But oh, what difference a day makes, because now he indeed is the head coach of the Jags. Talk about being indecisive. I'm saying you took yourself out. You pump fake, had the whole team thinking, okay, good, we're going to keep some normalcy around here. We already have a rapport built up. And then a few hours later, you just decide to, what changed in that time? Definitely money is on the table. Definitely could see that. But what changed? What changed your mind in that period of time? It should be interesting to see exactly how that transpired. Belichick has the read of the week. Bill Belichick says he doesn't like the rule that allows coordinator interviews before the postseason ends, saying it's a distraction to the team trying to win a Super Bowl. Now, he was on the Let Go podcast and said, I've never been a big fan of it. I think it's really unfortunate when you have a team, including the coaches and the coordinators, worked so hard all year to get to the playoffs, to have an opportunity to play in conference championships and Super Bowls, and then they're totally distracted by another team who was a bad team who has a coaching change infringing on the team that's trying to get to a championship by hiring one of their top coaches. Pause for a minute, because he didn't take a breath at all when he said that was a whole mouthful. He was spitting NFL bars. He went on to say, nobody would be happy if that was a player. But for a coach, that's also very disruptive, especially when you're the play caller. I mean, it's just human nature to be distracted by a potential job opening, staff, and change of lifestyle from a coordinator to a head coach when you're trying to prepare and call plays in a critical game. Well, think about Cliff Kingsbury. Listen, do you actually think that Cliff was going to entertain Jerry Jones? Furthermore, Jerry, why would you even try to go for him in this particular kind of situation? Because you at home. Leave that man alone. He's getting ready for the NFC conference championship game. And anybody else, it doesn't have to be Jerry, but come on now. That's messy on another level. And if wasn't nobody else going to call it out, oh yeah, Belichick said, I am. I'm about to call all y'all nonsense out because I'm going over to college anyway. So I'm about to let loose. That's what he said. Khalil Mack also said, let me go ahead and get one more. Yeah, let me go ahead and just get one more. I got one more in me, y'all. So 9-time Pro Bowler, Khalil Mack. Now, he said after the Chargers postseason's loss to the Texans that he needed to take some time to mull his future. But now he will indeed play in 2025-26 season. Mack's contract is up and he is scheduled to be an unrestricted agent. Some people, and I would like to see him finish this way. go on back to Vegas and finish out your career with Max. Just go ahead. Go ahead and do that. Yeah. I don't think that would be a bad thing. But that's reaching. Do we think that he would do that? No. Some people want him to go back home to Chicago. Absolutely not. But it wouldn't be a bad look to see him finish out with Max as a Raider. What y'all think? Y'all think it's good for Khalil to say, look, I got a little bit left in me. Let me get one more? Or do you think he should have indeed just said, yeah, I'm done? Your AI sidekick has arrived. That's right. Turn off the bat signal because Blaze is here to save the day. Blaze is an AI sidekick for overwhelmed teams of one just like you. Brainstorm and outline content ideas with AI. Go from idea to on-brand content in minutes. Turn a blog post into 10 plus asset types, ads, social posts, emails, and more. Collaborate with colleagues in real time and get content approved. Go to drT23.site. That is DRT23.site. Navigate to Blaze and download today. I think he made the right decision. $32,000 collected. That's right. Bills Mafia, Bills fans have collected $32,000 to a charity that Mark Andrews supports. Andrews, who has diabetes, supports the Breakthrough TID, an organization that helps people with, T1D, type 1 diabetes. So, you got to look at some of these fans' organizations. I mean, the Eagles, I think they raised over, I think it was like 11, 12,000, could be more dollars for the Rams to take back to California to help them with, efforts for the fires. And now you have the Bills are donating to his charity. I think that's pretty dope. Speaking about Mark Andrews, there was a lot of talk about, should he talk or should he stay silent after dropping those passes in this past game against the Bills? And my thought is this: he doesn't have to. He doesn't have to. And I rarely agree with Cam Newton on most things, but I do agree with him on one thing that he said. And this was on ESPN last week on First Take. And he said, regarding Mark Andrews avoiding the media, whether it was because of his performance, he wanted to talk about it, or he didn't right away. Cam brought up the Fox Sports workplace misconduct lawsuit, obviously against Skip and, of course, Joy and others, saying that it's hypocritical that the media can criticize Mark Andrews for staying silent. And I agree. Like I said, very rarely do I agree, but that's facts. Mark Andrews can speak when he's ready. He sent out a letter, stating his feelings about everything. And you have to understand, like, if you saw him on the sideline when he dropped that pass, yes, you don't drop passes, but it happens. There isn't one person in the sports media that has not dropped a pass or made a mistake on the field. And for them to be crucifying, especially loud ass Stephen A. Smith, when you need to be loud about certain things, i.e., Donald Trump, you get quiet as a church mouse. Oh, you are so quiet you can hear a rat piss on cotton. But when it comes time for you to give an honest take and look at the facts of what it is, you're the loudest person in the room and not saying a damn thing at all. Okay? Not at all. So, yeah, I do agree with Cam on this. I do not believe that the media is fair in how they judge people and what they decide to give attention to and what they don't. Listen, don't be silent about one thing, but then expect the person who dropped the ball even though that's important to be very loud. Well, be very loud about what's going on at Fox because it's ugly. Okay. Be very loud about that. And we'll be very loud about some stuff that's going on at ESPN here shortly. Listen, how much are you willing to sell your iPhone or your phone? It don't have to be an iPhone, but how much are you willing to part ways with your phone? Well, iPhones, listen to me, y'all. Please. I'm going to give a disclaimer and say do not do this. Okay? Do not fall into all of this monkey business that's going on in the media on these apps that's telling you to do stuff that you are going to be pissed off and regret later. iPhones with TikTok app installed are being listed on eBay for over $10,000. Although TikTok service has been restored in the US and it is not permanent. I think people got a little excited and thought that it's here to stay. It is only for roughly about 65 more days and it just is done. Okay. The app is currently restricted from further downloads in the App Store, meaning if you don't already have the app on your phone, if you go to the App Store, you cannot download it, leading some to believe that having it installed could indicate a value increase for their device. iPhone 13 Pro TikTok installed United States East Coast based iPhone, pre-owned $50,000. Let me tell y'all, it's already been two of them sold. iPhone 12 Pro Max with TikTok app installed, $10,000. 25 of them sold. iPhone 16 Pro Max with 1 terabyte black titanium. Sold two of them for 10,000. Where in the entire hell has people's brains gone that you are so messed up over a app that you are acting like a a drug addict who needs a fix because you want to get your hands on this app so bad you're willing to pay that type of bread for a phone? Are you stupid and don't think these people are the feds? Let me go. Yeah, go ahead and sell your phone if you want to. And every damn thing that's got anything to do with you on there is on that phone. And please do not jump in the comments and talk to me about, oh, I cleared it. I did a master reset on the phone. Okay. All right. Think that if you want to. Go ahead and sell your phone thinking that you just pocketed some money and watch little stuff start coming up that you can't fix. Stop being thirsty for money, y'all. Everything is a money grab nowadays or a scam. TikTok is okay, but it should not have you messed up in your head that much that you need to go and try and pay stacks on stacks for a phone. Stop it. Okay? Knock it off. It's just some things are asinine to me. And this is just one of them. You know what I mean? It literally is just I, I don't even have any more words for it. That's how bad it is. And the fact that you can see this on eBay and other sites, OfferUp, Let Go, Etsy, and all this weird shit, like, come on, y'all. Come on. It's other things that you could be doing other than fiending over an app. Listen, Joel Klatt um, is the commissioner of college football. And he wishes that college football was structured to have attention it deserves without interference to compete with the NFL playoffs. Give them their own schedule, basically, is what he's saying. Let's take a listen to what he has to say.
Is too special to sit there and go against the behemoth of the National Football League. If we can stop and crown our Rose Bowl champion on January 1st, that means that we can just play the regular season and go right into the playoff and retain all of our momentum without even getting into this idea that we're going to battle the MVP for their playoff race in week 16 and 17 and their MVP race where they're sucking some of the oxygen out of the air and they're taking away some of our valuable windows that we could be using to televise these games, which should be the showcase games of our sport.
And I believe that that's facts. I think, and please use the comment section. Let's talk about this. But I think college can go head to head in some instances during the early part of the regular season in both. Mind you, college starts before the NFL. Okay. So let them finish. Let them get that out of the way. In some instances, it almost seems like the NFL has no respect for college football scheduling at all. I mean, if they saw, how do I want to say it? If they saw like college have a bigger success with scheduling a playoff game the day after Christmas, the NFL would stick some type of, meaningless game on top of it. And I get what he's saying, because if you think about how it's structured right now, you get the end of their season and we're trying to get all of the bowl games going, but then there's a hard stop because the NFL is hard press. And then they lose their momentum, to his point, because now they're taking 3, 4, 5 days off, because then they have to wait till the NFL playoffs get started, get out the way. Then we resume the bowl games, and we got to stop again because then we got wild card playoffs just to get to the national championship. Like, Joel Klatt is not off right here, y'all. Let me know what y'all think down in the chat. But I do think that the NFL needs to have a little bit more respect for college. I mean, listen, you might want to just go ahead and let them play and get that out the way so that you can get more momentum and more views. Not that you're not, but you probably could get more attention to it if you just had your run after theirs. They start before you, let them get done. Let's not interrupt their greatness, okay? I don't know. Let me know. Do y'all think that the NFL has respect for, college football? And, I just don't. I've always wondered about that. Like, what's the reason? Why do we need to interrupt their run just to put on our playoffs? I don't get it. Jump down in the chat though. Let me know exactly what you think. All right, so 3:00 p.m. on Fox. You got the Commanders and the Eagles, 6 seed versus a 2 seed, and the game everybody is waiting for. You got the 2 seed and the 1 seed. The Chiefs and the Bills go at it at 6:30. We're going to get into some bets there. Listen, Jaden Daniels wakes up at 6 a.m. every day to train with virtual reality to prep for games. Daniels uses a German virtual reality style simulator that enhances split-second reads in specific game situations in immersive decision-making training. According to his trainer, the technology promotes cognitive training, sharper reflexes, and unlimited reps. Jaden says it's like a real life situation. They load in the stadium that you're playing in. I'll get in there and they'll probably give me 7 seconds to know the play. Pre-snap, I got to basically see the coverage and know where I am going with the football, all before the play clock runs out. He further goes on to say it's the actual scheme. Say we are playing a big cover 3 team. They have different versions of cover 3 we might see. So it is just like another way to prepare, mentally before the game. I mean, it sounds like NFL Pro era to me, but you know, whatever works, right? If it's working for him and I don't see anybody having any complaints as of right now, then it works. Even his coach Dan Quinn says that it has worked tremendously for him, and he's seen him doing it, and he doesn't really quite understand the new technology behind it, but it seems to work. So do you think that this is something that all players eventually will try to incorporate within their training to make them better? Um, hmm, we should see. We should see. Um, Ryan Clark sits down with Nick Saban, and he says he only has one regret, and that was leaving LSU. Sitting on then LSU athletic directors Skip Bertman's balcony, Nick's agent Jimmy Sexton asked, "Do you want to be Bear Bryant or Vince Lombardi?" And without hesitation, Saban answered Bear Bryant. Still, he made the decision to leave. Um, he's regretting about LSU over Miami or even LSU over Alabama. He's just learned he was a college coach, the greatest college coach to me of all time. So he was on a pivot with RC. So let's take a listen to what he had to say.
Made all the right decisions. Are there any things that you look back on, Coach, and said you wish you had done differently throughout your career? You ain't gonna like it when I say this, but I think sometimes you have to learn about yourself. And you might think things. When I left LSU, that was probably professionally the biggest mistake that I ever made. Not because we didn't have success in Miami, because I enjoyed coaching in Miami, but I found out in that experience that I like coaching in college better because you could develop players personally, academically, athletically, and all that a little more than in pro ball. Even though I love the status of coaching in pro football and the kind of guys you coached, and you're coaching in the best league against the best players, I loved all that. So then I can't go back to LSU, go to Alabama, and no disrespect to Alabama. It's not Alabama versus LSU. It's just Jimmy Sexton stood on the balcony when I was getting ready to leave LSU and make a decision about whether I went to Miami or stayed at LSU. And he said, "What do you want your legacy to be as a coach? Do you want to be Vince Lombardi or do you want to be Bear Bryant?" And without hesitation, I said, Bear Bryant. And he said, "What are you doing going to Miami then?" And that's true. I don't know if I ever told that story, but that's the truth. We, outside of Skip Bertman's office, on the balcony.
So that's the only regret that he has. And, you can't argue that, he made the decision that he wanted to make. Excuse me. And sometimes the Lord will know where you need to be, even if you don't. Even if you don't. So shout out to Nick Saban for following what he wanted to do. He may regret it, but in some way, some fashion, perhaps that's where he needed to be. Hold on, y'all. Oh, hell no. We have got to stop with these young people disrespecting our seniors, those who are still here, and those who have passed on. Okay. And Sexy Red is disgustingly out of pocket. So much that Bernice King had to go online and tell her to please delete the filthy, disgusting picture that she posted with her superimposed with Martin Luther King. Bernice King said, "This is intentionally distasteful, dishonoring, deplorable, and disrespectful to my family and my father, who is not here to respond himself because he was assassinated for working for your civil and human rights and to end war and poverty. Please delete." Sexy Red posted a photo, and you can go online and look this up on X or just type it in your Google search. She imposed herself through AI standing with Martin Luther King hand in hand, and he's staring down at her breast and in her face. Sexy Red then goes to her X account and says, listen to her response. "You ain't wrong." Oh, Lord, we're going to stop right there.
Oh, Lord!
You ain't wrong. This is Martin Luther King's daughter. Never meant to disrespect your family. My apologies. Just reposted something I saw I thought was innocent. There is no way in hell that you thought that what you posted on your X account on Martin Luther King's birthday, on Martin Luther King Day at that, okay? That was okay. Disgusting. Flag on the play. Deplorable. Dusty. Musty. The audacity. We already have people in higher positions right now who are disrespecting us as a people and that man. For you to double back and do it too? No wonder you voted for Trump. Bernice King circled back and said, "Thank you for your apology, which I sincerely accept. Please know that it is not my intention that you be degenerated, okay? I value you as a human being. I hope you understand my concerns about the image. I know that my father has become a bit of a caricature to the world and that his image is often used with no regard to his family, his sacrificial work, or to the tragic, unjust way he died. A state-sanctioned assassination. Unfortunately, I regularly challenged the disregarded. I earnestly wish that people would imagine what it would feel like to see their deceased murdered father repurposed for party flyers, unjust legislation, etc. All the best to you, young lady." The fact that she even had to go in there and defend her dead father, that is sick, nasty work. Sometimes we as a community, I do not care if you are black, brown, purple, polka dot, pinstriped, or whatever. Right is right and wrong is wrong. Your president just made it illegal for you to celebrate Black History Month. He wanted to release the files of Dr. King's assassination as a distraction to whatever else he has for us. He's already stopped the 1965 Equal Opportunity Employment Act, and do not think he's not coming for civil rights. So while you think that this is funny and you had to be checked in order to take it down, young lady, do better. Educate yourself to what's right, because you could blink with the administration we have and you are going to understand real fast and real clearly just why Martin Luther King, Cesar Chavez, Medgar Evers, and all of our other historical civil rights activists were killed or died. Do better, young lady. When we come back, we are going to get into some best bets. So make sure you go ahead and you get those coins ready. See if we can make a little something on these games, y'all. We'll be right back. All right. So bets for the conference championship games. We're keeping it simple. We don't need to get too crazy. Okay. So we're going to keep it like this. We're going to get 2 prop bets and the overs for both matchups. So for the Eagles and the Commanders, I'm going with Hurts over 186 and a half passing yards. And that has a positive EV of 9.5. And then Jaden Daniels, I'm going to go over 220 and a half, passing yards. And that has a positive EV of plus 8.2. And then we're going to go with the over 47 for that game. So go ahead, put that in DraftKings or whatever platform you use to bet. But on DraftKings, that would be, you could break that down into two-man slips. You could put your props together. You could put your over together. Oh, we're going to also go with Washington on the money line. All right. So props together and then your game lines together, or you could do a prop and a game line, a prop and a game line, or you could do all singles. Me personally, I would do two-man slips. Put your props together, put your game lines together. For the Bills and the Chiefs, I'm going with the Bills on the spread to cover at plus 2. And I am going to go with the over at 48 and a half. Those are my 2 game line picks. And for my props, I'm going to go with Josh Allen over 237 and a half passing yards. That has a positive EV of plus 13. And I'm going to go with Dalton Kincaid with over 31 and a half receiving yards as well. And that has a positive EV of plus 5.4. Don't forget, go ahead and join us on DraftKings. Go to DrT23.site. That is DRT23.site. Go ahead, click. Join us on DraftKings. We got a nice little club going on over there. You can post your bets. You can see what we're doing. Go ahead and drop down $5. You'll get up to $150 in bonus bets. Check out the promos that they have, y'all. They have good ones. So even if you are 2-man slips, that is still considered a 2-leg parlay. You may be able to get a bonus bet. You may be able to get some other things that they have going on. They also have free bets on there, but read the rules first. Okay. Lots of things going on these betting apps, but remember, bet responsibly, and remember, never bet any more than you are willing to lose. All right. So when we come back to Gone Now, MC Shan needs to stop. Okay. MC Shan, come on now. You are OG in hip hop, but sometimes you got to call it like it is. It's time to knock it off, sir. All right. So we'll be right back with that. All right, MC Shan. You got to get a little smoke this week. You need to stop. Good brother. You are one of the pioneers in hip hop. Okay. And the fact that you apologized, you know what I'm saying, to Pete Rock, and what he was trying to do after the fact should have been a little bit more thought through beforehand. Now check this out. MC Shan has apparently had a change of heart regarding Pete Rock sampling his classic single, The Bridge, on Common's acclaimed collaborative album, The Auditorium Volume 1. Now, the legendary Juice Crew MC, who previously commended Pete Rock and Common for poorly compensating him for their usage of his 1986 release, has now accused the duo of sampling the bridge without his permission and not paying him, initially praising Pete Rock and Common as men of respect and for putting food on his table. The Queensbridge rapper Pioneer is now claiming that Pete Rock and Common committed copyright infringement by sampling the bridge on the Auditorium Volume 1 single Wise Up. Now, what you didn't know is I own the publishing to the bridge. So it's a bigger infringement than just you taking my voice and a sample in a beat. I own the publishing, son. Now, I can't say it like, son, like they do in New York. What's up, son? What's up, God? I don't have that in me. All right, y'all. But that's what he said. The veteran lyricist wrote in the first of a series of posts that he posted, obviously, on social media. He also claimed that Pete Rock owns complaints about not being credited nor compensated for past works spurred him to speak out. I usually stay quiet on these things. That's not my business. Or when I see a man screaming foul that does the same thing and act like he should be paid and I shouldn't, you better go get that money back from Homage, son, because he didn't knock on my door. He didn't knock on my door, cut me in on nothing. Again, this must be some New York lingo, y'all, but I'm trying to read it the best way I can. And just like you were able to get your money, guess who's going to be able to get theirs? MC Shan then vowed to make Pete Rock and Common pay up one way or another, whether through a judgment, settlement, or lawyer fees to battle a potential lawsuit against them. He also said he's fine with any potential fallout between himself and the pair as a result of a legal battle or his public outcry. I don't care if Pete Rock or Common don't ever want to sit down and have 10 crumpets with me. The 59-year-old wrote, we never had seen crumpets in the first place. I did my best to read that, y'all. But listen, here's the thing, right? You gotta stop this because at one point you said they did pay you, okay? And you was all good with it. It was all love. Y'all pieced it up and it contributed to maybe some money that you needed. Here's my thing. I think that maybe he saw how well that album did and he wants a little bit more. Because when you go to court, it's going to be hard to explain to a judge how you initially, by your own accord, and see, you got to be careful what you put on X. Gone now, okay? With that, you got to be careful because your own admission said that you were paid and you ate well, okay? Initially, that you were properly compensated for them using the track. You said that they were men of respect, both of them. And to be clear, you said that it put food on your table. So if you take this to court or you want to be compensated for fair use of the track, how are you going to justify getting more money or suing them now for using it when you already was compensated for it and you ate off of it? See, how do you keep ending up in these little beefs? You already had that with M, and M tore you apart. And now you doubling back on Pete Rock and Common when they fed you. Gone now. Sometimes you got to learn how to let stuff go. Okay? If it's more bread that you wanted, then you should go to them like a man and have a sit down and say, look, all right, Now I let y'all use the recording. We cleared it and whatever. Okay. I need a little bit more change, fellas. Have a man-to-man conversation. Everything don't need to be ran through to go to X or Instagram or air people out on TikTok or Facebook or whatever shit y'all be using. Come on now. Go on now. Stop. You are OG in the game. This is not how you set an example. Your example is basically saying, hey, loan out your shit. Let them go ahead and sample it. Get a little bit of money to eat. But oh yeah, by the way, son, pay attention and see how that record is doing, because you might want to just double back and ask for some more money. And then not only is that the case, you on here talking real bad about these brothers when they already paid you. Go on now. We got to do better. You are a pioneer of the Juice Crew. And this is how you acting? Stop it, MC Shan. Knock it off, okay? It's time to settle down now. Grandfather vibes, if you got them, do something. But this ain't it, okay? It's time for you to stop with all of your shenanigans, okay? Enough is enough. That's going to end it, y'all, for this week. We got to have some more going on after these games, you know? So we'll jump into that next week. We'll also start migrating into the NBA, not in a rush to do that because their season is really long. And then we'll start looking at some of the spring training that's going on, et cetera, et cetera. And we also got the WNBA coming up after the Super Bowl. So listen, y'all, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this podcast. You can catch us on iHeartRadio. You can catch us on Spotify. You can catch us on Apple Podcast or wherever you get your podcast, wherever you like to listen to it. And remember to subscribe over here. It don't cost you a thing, all right? I'll catch y'all next week.